Yep. Good morning, everyone. So, last session we learned about forms. Have you finished the template design? Designing template. Few people submitted. What about others? I given a task to design. Generally, what we do is during this course, people who are doing the exercises regularly, submitting the tasks, these people, our admin is monitoring, filtering them. They will make list of all the people who regularly submit exercises and practice. And whenever companies campus drives happens, we recommend only these people to companies. Others we ignore. We don't care. We recommend only these people to the campus drives. Others we ignore them, because people who are practically doing the exercises are only eligible for that. Regularly campus drives are happening, even Tech Mahindra, Infosys, like people come here, right? And we recommend only these filtered people, others we don't. So if you are not practicing, that's your problem now, right? Every day I need not to remind you, tell you that do practice. If you don't do practice, we don't care about you. So you are doing practice, you are submitting exercises, only for those people we give priority, right? So if you are not practicing, not submitting exercise, you are on your own, right? If you are doing and exercises and everything practically perfectly, behind you in making you possible for various job opportunities, recommending you for various job opportunities. Sometimes we don't need even interview. Some of our clients come, if we recommend few people, they will take them, right? And very perfectly practicing, regularly doing people, those we will filter. Top 2-3 people, those people without interview, we place them. We recommend them to those companies. Doing all these days, we will simply tell them that take him, he's good. They will not even conduct an interview to you, right? So if you are not practicing, then you are on your own. If you are practicing, we can help you a lot. After HTML is finished, we will conduct some tests also, practical and others, up to HTML, whatever we learn. So based on that, we will do again grade filter of people who are regularly doing the work. Okay, so that's the reason, do practice. Without practice, nobody can help you in jobs, right? So technically, you need to be very perfect in practical, especially for UI technologies. Listening is not important. Practice. Submit all your exercises, whatever you have done. Okay. Now, in the next few sessions, I will tell you how to upload your work online. Everybody can have your own website, like freely you can create, and you can upload your work so that everyone other can watch it, can see it. That I will show you. So every day your work you can keep there. Okay, so practice very well. So you submit the task I given. So many days happened now. I told you that you need to submit by some Monday. Until now only few people submitted. Okay, right. Next, let's go into the concept what you learned. Form. Forms in HTML. We discussed about the concept of form. We learned about form element and we learned about form related attributes. Form attributes. What are the major attributes for form? ID, class, name, and form have method, form have action, and form have no validate. These are the form related options. So method we discussed. How many methods are there? Form methods are to get and post. Differences between those methods also we discussed, right? Difference between the methods. What is get, what is post, how get and post works. Next, after understanding the forms, now we will learn about form elements. So form elements. How to design various types of form elements. In that first, we will see how to use, how do we use text box? How do we design a text box? What is text box actually? It is an input element that allows the user to view input and edit a string. That allows the user to view input and edit a string. String means what? String is a literal with a group of characters. String is a literal with group of characters. Group of characters means alphabet, number, and special characters. String means a group of characters, alphabet, number, and special characters. So wherever you want a string, then you can use this text box. Text box is, it allows to view, it allows to input, and it allows to edit. String means group of characters. So how we design the text box? Text box is designed, input type is equal to text. Input type is equal to text. That is for designing a text box. Now, text box have lot of attributes. We will see what are those attributes. Text box contains lot of attributes. Actually, so here note, input element renders a text box. However, if you want string input, then mark type as text. You have to mark type as text. Without text box, text also directly text box will come actually. For example, see here, that means input element renders a text box. For example, see here, so we are writing a form. We will remove all other styles and all. So here we are designing a field set. We learned field set with a legend. I'll say, suppose register user. In that we have a data list with a name and data definition. Here I want to display username. I want to take the username so that user can type username. So we will define here simply input, just input. Input itself automatically gets a text box. Input itself gets a text box. So that is the definition I given here. Input element renders a text box. But if you want string input, then you have to mark it as text. Now browser is confused about this. Is it number input? Is it string input? Is it date input? That is the reason it is always good and important to mention the type as what? Text. So now you will not see any change. It is same. Without that also text box will come. But giving the type text, you are telling that this is the data type string. String data type is defined as text. String means alphabets, numbers, and special characters. A combination can be used here. So that is actually string. That means you can say David underscore 1, 2, 3 like this. You can have a combination of alphabets, numbers, special characters. It allows to input anything. But very important, now we have a lot of attributes, text box related attributes. What are the attributes for text box? Let's see. Text box is the control we are looking at. Text box related important attributes. Few attributes you already know. One is ID, another name, another one class. These are common. But what you have to know is, so note is, so every form element must have name. Every form element must have name. If name is not defined, then form cannot submit its value. Form cannot submit its value. So it is mandatory that every element in HTML form is having a name, compulsory. ID, class are optional, but name is compulsory. So without name, you cannot submit. For example, you see, suppose we are giving here, so this we have to design in a form. I will put a form. Inside the form, we have this. Now below this, I will put a button here. Just a button, say register. Later we will learn about buttons, right? As of now, I kept the button. And see, this text box is having ID. ID suppose txt name. So it is having some class like form control. You can give any class names and all. As of now, we don't have any class, just roughly I am giving. Another option here is, we are not giving name. Observe, I am entering the name, and after that, so I click on register. The form is submitted. By default, form is submitted on which request? Get. On get request, where data will be? In get request, when you submit, data will be in query string, right? When I click register, it is submitted, but it is not in query string. So form cannot submit the value of any element if it is not having name. So it is mandatory that it should have a name. Name I will give as, suppose, user name. And now you type some name and click on register. Now it is submitting that username. So form cannot submit any element if it is not having a name. So it is important that every element should have a name. So maintain a good name. So it is input type text, ID as some txt name, class as some form control, and the name is equal to username. Like this we can define. That is, and already I told you that there is no order dependency for attributes. That means first which attribute I have to give, type or ID or class or name. There is no order. You can write type at the end, type at the middle. There is no order. That means these attributes, there is no order. So input should contain those attributes. You wherever you want, you can write them. That means there is no order for that. That means it's not necessary that you have to start with input. See, I started input type as text, but now type is at the end. Right? In between, I am adding others. It's working fine, no problem. So there is no order for attributes. But every element must have an name. Next, important, in the attributes, we have value. Value. Value is important. Value is nothing but it defines the value to display in text box. What value you want to display in text box, that you can do by using value. So you can define default value. You can define default value. You can put any default value. Suppose sometimes you see in websites, you open edit my profile. When you open edit my profile, then it will show your username in text box. That means your username is already in text box. It's not empty. So it is displayed in a text box. If you want, you can make changes in that name. So whenever I open the form, by default, I want some value inside. I don't want empty. Then you can simply put here, value. Value, I give some value as John. And this is value. You can see by default, some value is there. However, I can change this value. I am changing that value. But whenever I refresh the page, then it will get the default value. You can change the value and you can submit this value. So, but remember, after submitting, what will happen? Page will load again. After submitting, page will load again. Then you will get John, but it is submitting David. So you can have some value by default inside the text box. Why? Because we don't want user to submit empty. If user is not typing anything, something should come there that you can do by using this user value. For example, suppose, do you know, here you see, suppose in my computer, in some D drive, I want to create a new folder. I will say new folder. Generally, folder should have a name. If I don't give name, nothing will happen. What will happen if you don't give name? It will automatically give a name called new folder. Am I right? The folder name will be new folder. That is default. That means if user is not providing any name, by default take something. That you can do by using value. You see, by default, new folder will come. That is called value. You can leave it that value or you can change the name. You can change the name. That is what actually. So this is usually done by using this value. You can have some default value. So here we have input type is equal to text. I am just giving value is equal to some John. But actually, you can change the value. Anyone, if you want, you can change the value. If you don't want anybody to change value, then what you can do is you can give read only. Read only. It makes the value read only so that it cannot be changed. So that it cannot be changed. You cannot change. Fixed name. That means generally what you do in several websites, you can see, suppose even anywhere, maximum, you can change password, you can change some account details, city name, address, but you can't change user ID. Once user ID is taken, it is final. You can't change your user ID. If you want, you have to leave that existing ID and create a new ID, but you can never change user ID. You can never change user ID. So you have to open and show it, but you should not allow to change it. That means user can watch it, but cannot change it. So remember here, read only field can submit value. It will not allow to change, but it can submit the value. For example, see now, currently read only is not there. So here you can see read only is not there. So I can make changes in it. But what I will do here, I will make this as read only. When I put read only, this name, I click and try to type, nothing can be typed. I can't change. We can't do any modification. You can see, I will right click. There is no cut option. Actually, cut option will be there. Cut and copy. There is no cut option because you can't remove it. It is fixed. That is read only. But see, when I click submit, register, it is submitted. John is submitted. Read only means it will not allow to make any change, but it can submit it. It can submit. This is what many times asked in interview also. There is another option called disabled. Disabled means it will not allow to change the value and will not allow to submit value and will not allow to submit value. That means there is another option, disabled. So both cannot be changed. Then in interviews they ask what is difference between read only, disabled. Both cannot be changed. Disabled also cannot be changed. You can see now I am removing read only. Instead of read only, I am giving disabled. And you can see it is disabled. So I will refresh. You see it is disabled. I can't make any change here. I am trying to select type, nothing happening. And when I click register, it cannot even submit also. See, it is not submitted. But it is having name. If name is there, it should submit. But it is unable to submit because disable will not allow to submit. Why we need this? Many times we need this because suppose you see You are shopping online, some shopping. You selected a product. That product cannot be delivered to your city. That means, will they remove the city from list? They will not remove the city from list. Why? Because after few days that product may be available. Currently not available. They will not remove the city. They will simply keep the city and they will disable it. That means user cannot select. Or even user selects, we will put a message that this city, this product cannot be delivered. We will not remove items. We will keep them, but we will not allow to select. We will not allow to submit. Without selecting, without submitting, just showing. In that case, better you can go with disable. If I give read only, they cannot change, but they can submit. We don't want to submit also, but we want to show. In that case, we can give the option called disable. That is the difference actually. So you cannot use both, any one. Because if you use read only disabled, disabled will be highlighting. If you give read only disabled, disabled will be working. Then no use of read only. Any one, either read only or disable. So you can define like this. Input type is equal to text. And here some name, some value is equal to some John. You can put as read only. Or similarly, same, you can keep as disabled. Read only or disabled. You can define like this. We have read only and disabled. So that is text, how we can define. Another important attribute is placeholder. Placeholder. Another option is placeholder. Placeholder, actually, it is used to define watermark text. It is used to define watermark text for text box. Define watermark text to text for text box. This is just watermark text. So here important is watermark can be displayed only when there is no value. Watermark can be displayed only when there is no value. If value is there, watermark will not be displayed. And watermark is just a tip. It cannot be submitted. Watermark is just a tip. It cannot be submitted. So watermark text you can define by using placeholder. Placeholder is used to define watermark text. Watermark text is simple actually. Suppose here, let's remove all this. I will keep it simple. So input type as text. Input type is equal to text. And here I will put placeholder name in block letters. Just some tip. And you can see it displays like this. This is placeholder. This placeholder is just watermark. You click inside, you are typing something, it is gone. I removed it, then placeholder will come. Placeholder is just a tip. So in the background, it will be there. When you give value, placeholder cannot be there. Value is John. And you can see, you can't see placeholder. Placeholder is displayed only when the value is removed. values, just tips. You can display some tip. So you can do that by using this. Generally we give some tips about typing values in. That means suppose mobile number, then we will say use +91, right? So use uppercase letter, use at least one symbol. Such tips we give using placeholder. Placeholder is for displaying watermark text. So we need to define input type is equal to text, name is equal to some username, placeholder is equal to some suppose max 10 chars only. Like this I am giving. You can give any tip you want. I am giving max 10 chars only. It is just a tip. It will not restrict 10 characters. It is just tip to display. So that you can do by using placeholder. Next, important here, we have another attribute. Another important attribute, size. It defines the width of text box. The default size is 20. You can change the size of text box. The default is 20. Increase, decrease, your wish. You can define. It is not restricting. It is just only width of text box. Because we don't want text box every time in same way. For example, you see, suppose this is okay. Some let's take one example here. Like I'm just giving here a heading, some Google. I am giving here input type is equal to text. And here I am giving here as button as such. So this form, this all present in a div. And for this div, I will give a line as center. You can see like this, it is there. I will keep this in the next line. 2 line breaks I am giving. It will be in this way. Now I want to increase the width of this. I want a large text box. So just you have to define size. Size by default it is 20. I am giving 20. You will not see any change. I am giving some 60. Now it changes. I am giving some 40. It changes. You can change the width. It doesn't mean that you can type 40 characters. It is just width 40. 40 what pixels? 40 characters. 40 characters width, not limit. Limit, you can type any number of characters. You can type any number of characters inside it. It is not limit. You can type any number of characters inside it. It is not limit. If you want limit, that means this is size. Different options we give, because sometimes you see, you ask OTP or PIN, 3 characters small. Suppose you are asking for date of birth. Roughly I'm giving here. Suppose you see date of birth. Here I have to give input type is equal to 1 text. Another I'm giving input type is equal to text. And I am giving input type is equal to text. So here I am defining simply like some slash and here slash like this. And here I am giving placeholder. Placeholder is day, month. Here I am giving placeholder. Placeholder is day. And here I am giving placeholder is year. Like this. And you can see these are lengthy. I want short. That means this size I will give 2. And the same size I will give for day. Here also 2. Same size I will give for year. I will give here as 4. And you can see it will display in this way. We have to adjust the width accordingly. That is just only to understand size. So you can have lengthy, you can have shorter. That is basic. This is simple syntax here. That is the syntax. I'm just giving that example, right? So here we have input. We have another input. And we have another input. 3 inputs are there. They will display side by side, obviously, if you are not using a break, right? So size is very important when you are trying to display some content, lengthy, shorter. So that is size. Suppose if you want to limit restriction, if you want to limit, then what you have to do is we have to define. You have to define the option like we have max length. Max lengths. It restricts the maximum number of characters in text box. Max length restricts the maximum number of characters. That means you cannot enter more than that. So similarly, we have min length. Min length, it validates the minimum number of characters. Minimum number of characters, min length and max length. Maximum and minimum. So you can simply write like this. Minimum. Okay. You can define the syntax in this way. Input type is equal to text. So min length is equal to 4. Max length is equal to 10. This indicates you can enter only 4 to 10 characters. Anything else not allowed. It will not allow. It can restrict that. So we have max length and we have min length. So you can see here. So min length and max length I'm defining. I will go here. You can see in this, I can enter any number of characters actually. You see, I can type 1, 2, 3, 4, anything. But I want to restrict only 2. Minimum 2, maximum 2. In that case, you can simply put the option min length as 2, max length also 2. That means you can see you are entering and it cannot enter more than that. I can't type anything more than that. I can't type anything. That is limit. So minimum and maximum. Suppose if you are not satisfying minimum, so let's remove this here. Suppose in this search box, I am giving min length 4, max length some 15. Now I am here typing some JAV and click on search. It will validate. It will say that please lengthen text to 4 characters. Currently it is 3. How it is saying 4? Because you set 4, min length 4. it is validating. It will not submit now. So you have to satisfy minimum 4. Maximum, I am trying to type, it stops there. After that, I can't type anything because maximum it is 15. It will not show any message. It will simply stop. For min length, it is going to display the message. For max length, it will prevent. It will not allow to type more than that. So that is max length, min length and max length. So you can restrict the number of characters which can be entered. That is done by using min length and max length. So while working with this text box, this is another important attribute, min length, max length. One more important attribute is required. It ensures that text box is not empty. That means, so it is used to mark any field as mandatory field. Any field as mandatory. That means without that, you cannot submit. It's compulsory. You must enter something. So that is required. Required ensures that text box is not empty. That means you see here, suppose this is search name I am giving as what? Search. Okay, you see now I am not typing anything and just clicking search. Then it will say, so where is it? Field is there. Huh? We are not using required. We will use what? Required. I will give required for this. And without entering anything, I click search. Then it will show, fill out this field. So we cannot submit. You cannot submit. You have to compulsory fill it. Actually, earlier, to do this, we have to write manually JavaScript and all. But now HTML is better with a lot of validations internally managed. The advantage of this, you can easily use and configure the validations in HTML. Earlier, we have to depend on JavaScript, but not required much. So here still it is not satisfying. Why? Because some validations are not according to our requirement. Last session I told you, if you remember, email validation you saw, there is a no validate option. So the point is, if anyone asks like, I don't want this message, I want another message, like please enter such string. If anyone asks, can I change this message? You can, but in JavaScript, not here. Through JavaScript, you can change those messages. So you can change those messages. You can put your own messages, but here you can't do anything. If you are trying to submit empty, it will not allow. You have to type something. And I'm entering something and click on search. Now it is submitted. Without entering anything, you cannot submit. That is used by using required. Required indicates that the field is mandatory. It cannot be empty. We have to define input type is text and we have to just use required. So that is another important for validation. Next, another option is autofocus. Autofocus. It sets focus to text box. automatically on page load. It sets focus to the text box automatically on page load. Whenever page loads, the text box will get focus. So here you see, that means generally sometimes what happens, we open a form. After opening the form, we forget to click inside the form. Without clicking, we will start typing, and it will not type anything because you have to click where to type. That means I have to click inside the form, then I should start typing. Sometimes what we do is, sometimes we forget that here. That means our cursor will be there. We forget there and start typing. It will type there. Right? So we don't want like this to happen. Whenever page opens, directly form element should get focus so that we can start typing from there. So what you can do is, simply you can set here autofocus. Autofocus. You can set autofocus. Autofocus is nothing but whenever I load the page, cursor will be blinking there. That means, so I refresh the page, the cursor will be here. If there is another text box, suppose there are so many text boxes. So 2-3 text boxes are there. I am removing this. So I'll just temporarily put a BR. So 2-3 text boxes are there. You can see 2-3 text boxes are there. First one gets focus. I want third one focus. That means now you can just set autofocus to third. But there can be autofocus to only one. If I give autofocus to the third one, first one is only working. If I remove the first one, then automatically cursor goes to the third one. Cursor starts blinking there so that you can directly start typing. So whenever you open a form, we want cursor in the form ready so that we can start typing. It will not waste the time of client so that he will click inside and start typing. For that, we need to give this auto focus. Can we set autofocus to multiple elements in a form? No. Even you keep, autofocus will be only for first. Only for first. So autofocus is set focus here. So if you set autofocus to multiple elements in form, then it enables only for first element. It enables only for first element. So input type is equal to text, and you have to say autofocus. Autofocus is that option. How do we set the focus for the text box? So autofocus is used for highlighting. That means cursor gets into the focus automatically when page opens. Next important, we have another attribute is list attribute. List. It defines a data list for text box. It defines a data list for text box. Data list is used for autocomplete. It is used for autocomplete. Data list is used for autocomplete. And data list is designed by using two elements we have data list, and we have option. By using data list and option, we design the data list. So we have to work with the data list. So that is important. Data list is used for autocomplete. It is used for autocomplete. So what is the data list? Actually, you see here, I'm suppose already you have seen so many. Suppose I will run this here, register form. I click inside, some list came, right? Without typing, some list is coming. That is actually autocomplete. That is autocomplete. Now, from where this list is coming? Is it permanent? It's not permanent. It depends on history. From your browser history, if you delete, this will not be there anymore. That means you see there is a delete button. If I delete, these are gone. I click, it's not displayed. If you go to history and clean history, they will be deleted. But I don't want like that. I want a permanent list. Permanent list so that I can help the user when he is typing. In that case, then what we can do here, under this input, I am using a data list. Data list contains an option. In this, you can write what you want. Suppose I want JavaScript tutorial. Okay, I want JavaScript examples. I will write JavaScript FAQs like this. Similarly, I am writing some CSS examples. I am writing some CSS FAQs and some here CSS tutorial. Like this I am defining. Now what happens is, these are all the options, HTML tutorial like this. This data list I want to use for this text box. And every data list can be used only for one text box. You cannot use this data list for another text box, only one. Then how to mention unique names? Unique name is defined with ID. So there is no confusion. You may be thinking like sometimes I am using name for reference, sometimes I am using ID. Already I told you the difference. When we use name, when it can be used by many. If we want many elements to use, then we can give a name, because name can be common. But if you want only one element to use it, then you have to define by using IDs. And here ID I am giving as terms. So this text box have to use these terms as a list. Then we have to just use an attribute list is equal to terms. Is equal to terms. And now you can see list is equal to terms, and it is, when I click inside, that list will come. And you see a down arrow is coming. This is not drop down. Drop down is different. Drop down will not allow to type, but this will allow to type. Here I am typing some FAQs. All FAQs list will come. Here I am typing like tutorial. All tutorial options will come. Here I am typing like, suppose, examples. I can choose, I can select any using up down arrow, press tab, automatically it will complete, right? It is going to complete that. So when I type, because here max length I given, I have to remove that. Otherwise, it will not take all the characters that we are giving. Okay. So here I am selecting JavaScript tab. It will get that. Now there is no chance of deleting them now. There is no delete button here because this is not history. This is permanent. Actually, this type of list we will bring from database and display. Means while typing, we will show what are availabilities. He can choose any instead of typing everything. So I said some examples. I said some tutorial. I said some CSS. It will get that. So that I can choose only what I want. This is called list. List is designed by using data list. And here, very important, every data list will have ID reference. So text box can access ID, by using list attribute. That is important. So first, what we have to do syntactically, we need to define here a simple input type is equal to text. List is equal to terms. And below that we have data list ID is equal to terms. In the data list, you will have an option. So this is term 1. And we have another option. So that is term 2. Like this, we can configure and close data list. This is how we define. So don't get confused. This data list is different from another data list you learned. DLDT, DTerm, that is also data list. So this is form data list. So if anyone asks, what is a data list? Now you should ask related to form or normal HTML element. If it is related to form, remember data list will not display directly. You have to use with the text box only. That means this data list, if I am not having a text box, the data list will not be there. Data list is not visible. It can be invoked only through a text box by using which attribute? List. This is example. I will just give this example. I will copy this program just to show you that point here, how it works. So this is another important attribute. Remember, you are learning only one control, one element. These are all the attributes of that element. You are learning about only text box. These are all the attributes of text box. Now text box have another very major attribute, very important attribute we have, and that is pattern. This is very big concept. So this we have to learn in detail. So much is there about this pattern. Pattern is another important attribute. Pattern is nothing but actually pattern, it validates the input value by matching against a pattern, a regular expression, against a regular expression. So it validates the input value by matching against a regular expression. And you have to learn how to build a regular expression. This is the biggest challenge here. And this is very big concept to learn and understand here. So validates a pattern. So by using regular expression, actually, you should know that regular expression, a regular expression is built by using two things. One, meta characters, and two, quantifiers, meta characters and quantifiers. Regular expression is built by using meta characters and quantifiers. This is very, very important. What are meta characters? I will tell you. So many are there. We will see those meta characters, how to use them. That is important. Now, this is almost every form is tested with patterns. A web developer, Java, .NET, anywhere, you will come across with these patterns, and everywhere same. If you learned here perfectly, you can handle anywhere in the same way. And these are very common thing. For example, you see websites, they ask, enter password 4 to 15 characters. It must have at least one uppercase letter, one number, and one special character. How you will verify? How you will verify that there is one uppercase letter, there is one special character? You don't need to write program. You have to use expressions. Regular expressions are used for this. Regular expressions are used for verifying the format. And our responsibility is to build regular expression. Remember, I will not teach this again in JavaScript jQuery. We will use it. Here we will learn perfectly in HTML. Once we learn in HTML, we can detailedly use it in our JavaScript. In JavaScript, again, I will not explain this topic because it will take 2-3 sessions only to understand this. Now, this point is not just 5 minutes topic. This is 2-3 sessions topic. You need to perfectly learn patterns because it is mandatory everywhere. So these patterns, how introduction we will see now, we will go further. Actually, meta characters means everybody knows meta characters. Generally, for example, suppose this is my computer folders. If I ask you how to get the list of all PDF files in this computer, starting with character S, how to get all PDF files in this computer whose name starts with S. Then you see this is search. In search, how you can type there? In search, how you can type yes. File name should start with yes. .pdf means it will search for yes.pdf file. File name starts with yes. With yes, so many files will be starting. Is it correct? Then we generally use here yes asterisk. Do you know? Don't know. You never used it. This is meta character. That is meta character. Meta characters are very common. In ordinary computer operating also, you will use these meta characters. But if you are not aware of all these techniques in general computer operating, it will look like new thing, new topic. These are general computer operating basics. That means how you will say that I know computer operating without knowing how to search a file inside it, right? That means somebody copied a file somewhere and you don't know where it is. You don't know full name of file. If you know the full name of file, then you can search for it. You know only partial name. You know that it starts with something, but you don't know how it ends, but you know its extension. Then we use these meta characters. Meta characters. So meta characters, so many. Do you know what is the meaning of asterisk? Asterisk means more than one and any. Means I will tell you, so many points are there. We will discuss here. Suppose see here, meta characters. What are the meta characters? So many meta characters. For example, roughly, I will show you here. Suppose I am opening command prompt. You know dir. It will display files list. In this, I want only the files whose name starts with yes. Then I have to write dir s asterisk dot asterisk. And it will get only the files that starts with yes. Right? These are the techniques actually to filter, to search, to restrict. These are meta characters. So many meta characters are there. Suppose you see, suppose I want all files that have extension bat. Then usually we will write dir asterisk dot bat. It will get all bat files. That is how we use the patterns. Suppose I want only the files whose names 3 characters and bat extension. Whose name 3 characters and having BAT extension. Here dir question mark, question mark, question mark. Every question mark indicates single character. And dot bat, it will get only the file that is matching. One file is matching. What is it? Job. These are meta characters. These days, generally, people directly jump into technologies without learning computer basics. That means we have software engineers who don't know how many keys are present on keyboard. Do you know? But you are a software engineer. Seriously? You are a computer operator. Seriously? Without knowing how many keys are present on keyboard. That's like joke. Right? People don't know screen resolution. What are pixels? How the screens are measured? They don't know. But they are computer operators. These days, we have to bear with all these people. Do you know why people tell that in software companies, you have to face a lot of stress? So, obviously, lot of stress you have to face as a software engineer. Lot of work is given to you, clients meetings, lot of time bound work is given to you. It's not easy to survive in software companies. I'm warning you. It's not easy to survive. So that means in software companies, the politics will be more than our Indian politics. Yeah? So much. You have to bear all this. You need to be very strong in character. Then only you can survive. Right? That means people do a lot of favor to people who are favored to them. They will not help anybody else. You cannot be close to anybody. Anybody. You can't even trust your best friend in software company. Not possible. You should never. This all you will learn once you are into that, right? Because these days, why people face lot of stress? Because they jump into direct technology without knowing basic. Then if any issue comes, they are unable to track the root of issue. From where the issue may come, they can't track that issue. That means they know the problem, but they don't know from where the problem may come. If anybody knows that, software development is very easy, simple. Nobody need to take much stress. These days, people are learning technologies directly without learning basics. Computer basics, that means you should know minimum how to operate a computer, na? How to search files, how to install, how to uninstall, how to add anything. These are all computer basics. If you cannot search a file in your computer, then how you are a computer operator? So if you know all these basics, then it is easy to resolve issues. Remember, if you are strong in basics, you can easily handle the issues. If you are directly into technology without knowing basics, no use. Lot of problems these type of people will face in companies. So don't waste time in directly jumping in technology, thinking that I don't have time. Many people, when they join this course, do you know first question what they ask? When it will finish, sir? That is the first question. That means they are joining to finish. These kind of mindset people are not suitable in software companies. Not suitable. They can't survive. If you are joining a course to finish, then you are not eligible as software engineer. 100%. You are not. That means that is the mindset of these kind of people these days. People directly learn Java, .NET, big technologies without knowing basic programming. If we ask first learn programming, then they will say, no, other institute teaches me directly Java. I will go there. Right? So for such type of people, what we should do? So your bad luck. That means, okay, you want like that, we will teach you like that. That is the reason many people face issues. They cannot resolve issues. These are not new concepts. These are all basic computer things. But we will learn detailed here because we know that you are coming from fresh backgrounds. And if you are not aware of basic computer operating like things, this is new for you. That is the reason we will discuss detailedly here so that it will help you. Remember, these patterns are used in JavaScript, jQuery, Angular, React, and .NET, Java, PHP, Python like technologies. But they don't teach there. You have to learn in HTML and go there. So in HTML, you have to learn these meta characters. So what are the meta characters available? So many. You have seen first one. Just now you saw question mark. Question mark is used for, it is used for 0 or 1 occurrence of character. Any character. 0 or 1 occurrence of any character. Question mark means 0 or 1. That means without you can have at least 1, you can have minimum, you can have 1, without also 0, no problem. That means, for example, see here, we are defining one option here. So here 0 or occurrence means I will give a simple point here. See, suppose we are having some text box test. Okay, input type is equal to text and name is equal to test. Okay, and here I'm giving a button, submit. I want here placeholder. So here COLOR or COLOUR. Only these two spellings are allowed. Anything else, if user tries to type, it should not allow. Then how to restrict? Only these two spellings should be allowed. Anything I type inside should not allow. As of now, anything it is allowed, but I should not allow. Only those two words are allowed. Then how? We can put here pattern COLOUR. Then only COLOUR is allowed. COLOUR. I type COLOR, it is not allowed. Only what you typed is allowed. But I want to allow without you also. That means now beside you, I will put a question mark. This indicates that you can be 0 times or 1 time. Understood? That means it can be 0 times or 1 time. That means without you and with you. That means you occurrence can be 0 times. That means without you means what is spelling? COLOR, that is allowed. Or COLOUR. Any other character you cannot change. Any other character you cannot ignore. That means you can now type COLOR. Submit, it is working fine. I am entering COLOUR. Submit, that is also working fine. Anything else? COLOUR. So submit, it's not working. So any other spelling is not working. You have only COLOR. And submit, only that allowed. Only 2 are allowed. How you can do that? By using this meta character. I am just telling you purpose. Later we will build expressions. First we have to know what is it. So question mark is used for 0 or 1. Any character you can put question mark. That means you can ignore that character or put 1 time. You can add any number of times. That means I can put L also question mark. That indicates without L or with L. But currently, as per our spelling, we want this. That is how we have to write the pattern. That is one simple option for pattern, question mark. So many other meta characters are there that we will see in our next session. Right? Don't miss session for tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Entire tomorrow, day after tomorrow, our topic is this. And this we will use in JavaScript, jQuery later everywhere. And there we will not learn again. We will just use this. Right? So this is very big concept. Lot of things you have to learn that we will see in next session. Because in every form, patterns are very important to write. Right? That we will learn how to write. Okay? Tomorrow we'll continue. Right?